Welcome to SB Reads. My name is James Noebels. I'm one of the many English teachers here at the high school, and I was asked to introduce the video you're about to see. That features some of our students talking about why reading is a gift to them. It's the perfect theme, actually, because it's what many of us talk about in our classes, about how reading is the ultimate gift. We're constantly talking about the idea that a person who can read but chooses not to has no advantage over somebody who cannot read. And I think that's even more important now in the age of computers and AI and all that. We talk about how theoretically in imagine 5, 10, 15, 20 years, how you could get through more of your life without reading, but how you actually would be losing something that's pretty sacred to us, our ability to read, our ability to connect with other people very closely. And so on this night, we're celebrating the idea that reading is a gift and how it's on each and every one of us, whether you're an adult and you're a teacher in a classroom, or you're a high school student who is capable of reading, or if you're a young child in this district and you're learning how to read, how at any level that reading is a gift, and it's our responsibility to not dishonor the gift of our own literacy. So with that in mind, welcome and enjoy some of the words from our students here at the high school about how reading is a gift. Thanks.
As an avid reader, I can firmly attest that reading saturates your brain with so much knowledge about various cultures, philosophies, and perspectives. And that in and of itself creates a pathway for radical thinking. And radical thinking is what revolutionizes change. So by reading, you are becoming the future change makers and leaders of our world. And reading is not only about that, but it's also about honoring the stories of the voices that are often left unheard. And by doing that, you also inspire the voices of others and unlock a pathway of powerful storytelling.
I believe that some people might find books to be more valuable than material gifts because they provide a lot more emotional value, and people can find more value in the books even after the moment that they receive them. Something like a material gift kind of wears off after a little bit, but then people can find a connection to a book and they find it to be a lot more valuable than a material gift because they can use it to help them drive their perspective, drive their life, and a lot more other things that can help them.
Reading has been a gift in my life because I've read so many books in my life, and it has all given me valuable lessons and valuable teachings that I still carry with me to this day. For example, just delving into new experiences and looking at the perspectives of other people while also like treasuring my own perspective and my own, for example, religion and my thoughts is something that books have taught me, and just to acknowledge other people's worlds and where they come from, and just hearing and listening to other people's voices in general. That's why I like books.
I feel like a lot of people think reading is all about reading like super cool literary works or like acclaimed award-winning works that are like super that can be boring or like really tedious to read with like super fancy language. But my favorite books personally are like fantasy books. And even though like we do read some acclaimed works in like the high school and stuff, a lot of the books that we do read are more like simpler or like easy to understand and actually interesting. So it's so definitely okay to have books that you don't like to read, that you are forced to read. But reading makes my life better, and like because I get to pick what I want to read, and there's a book out there for everyone. My favorite books again are like fantasy books, Like I really like dystopian novels like Scythe, where like I get to see a different perspective because I spent all my life living as me in like New Jersey in the suburbs, and I get to see what life could be like outside of this world, outside of the earth. And I think that's really cool because not even though it's unrealistic, it does offer a different perspective on like and philosophies on like how life works and the meaning of death and like how relationships work with like friends and family and loved ones, and it just offers you different perspectives and different dynamics. And I think it's really interesting that even though I haven't lived through those experiences myself, I can still have some knowledge about things that I don't really or I haven't experienced myself.
Hello, my name is Isabel, and one thing that reading has taught me that I'll carry with me forever is learning that it's okay to carve out my own pathway as opposed to following in everyone else's footsteps. Growing up, I always felt the pressure to conform to societal norms and expectations of what my life should look like. But through reading topics and genres that deeply resonated with me and genuinely resonated with me, gave me the confidence that pursuing the careers and goals that I've always wanted to, but I've always suppressed, can still lead to success and can still lead to fulfillment in life.
What is a book you read that felt like a gift to you? Why? A book that I read that feels like a gift to me is Joy Luck Club because I can relate to the characters' cultural struggles.
A book that I've read that's felt like a gift to me is The Atomic Habits because it's changed productivity in my life.
A book that I read that felt like a gift to me was The Gulag Archipelago because it helped me learn some of the most important events in the 20th century.
A book that was a gift to me was Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal because it showed me the different ways of messaging and how to get your point across using different modes of communication like satire.
I would encourage students to read because not only is it better than scrolling endlessly on your phone, it opens your mind to various worlds and possibilities and it broadens your imagination. You don't just have to read nonfiction to do this. You can read fantasy, you can read fiction, you can read mystery, you can read true crime, you can read whatever you want to read, but as long as you're reading, you can open your eyes to a whole new world with billions of possibilities that you can carry with you forever, millions of lessons you can carry with you forever, and you can also make friendships just by reading because you might see someone reading the same book as you, and there you go, you have a new friend. So yeah, don't be afraid to just pick up a book and start reading.
Reading has made my life better because the alternative would be mindlessly scrolling on my phone, and reading has been more productive for me because it improves my mind, and I find that I can concentrate more on my homework and during class. And reading has also reduced stress for me, and it offers me new ways to tackle problems I have in life, while also being a form of entertainment that is actually good for me.
Changes my perspective on the world because in every book I read, the author has either created a new world or has a slightly different idea or opinion or perspective on our own world. And as I'm reading, I am able to put myself in the shoes of the character that I'm reading about and see the world a slightly different way because characters are not the same as I am. So because of this, I'm able to reflect on my perspective of the world and change and grow and learn as I read.
Reading makes your life better or richer because you get more information about the things around you and you get to understand
like different people's problems and different people's perspectives on things. And that can make your life better, Richard, because you just understand more people around you and you're able to connect with more people overall.
I would encourage other students to read because books can truly change your perspective. I've read so many different novels that encouraged me to pursue different hobbies like art or, politics. I've read so many books where I'm like, the character can do that, so I can do that too. I've read books that have completely changed my own perspective, changed the way I look at the world around me. I've read books that have, encouraged my hobbies, my interests, and books that made me cry and made me happy. There are so many different ways that books can affect you. And the best part of it is that it's not like movies where you're stuck to one single narrative. You can interpret books in so many different ways. You can interpret the characters different ways. You can interpret their stories different ways. I love to read poetry especially, and what I like about poetry is that you can kind of convey the same message but in fewer words. You can read a poem and interpret it 1,000 different ways, and you're not just stuck to one single narrative. You can interpret it in a way that impacts your life, in a way that impacts other people's lives. There are so many different ways that you can read a book, and I know sometimes when I've read a book and my friend has read the same book, we've gotten so many different messages from it, and that's what I really love about books. So I'd encourage every student to read as much as they can.
Hi, my name is Neha, and I'm here to talk about why reading has been a gift in my life. When I was very young, I moved school districts, and I came and entered the South Brunswick School District. And this was one of the hardest things I ever went through in my life. I had to leave behind my support systems and all my friends. But the one thing that I could always rely on, no matter what, was books. I found solace in books, and they served as my retreat. When things weren't going great in my real life, and when I felt like I needed a break, the books were always there, and they were dependable, and it helped me get through a lot of challenging times in my life. As I've gotten older, I've been able to have a lot more tangible benefits from reading. And one of these is the deepening of my knowledge and becoming more wise, but also more cultural awareness and appreciation. I've been able to learn about cultures and languages and places that I otherwise would not have access to. And this is such a unique perspective and experience that very few things can actually give you, and for this reason, reading has always been an integral part of my life, and I hope that everyone out there shares this same love, as books can really change your life. Thank you so much.